Hey, I'm Phil. I play bass in Softcult. We're on tour right now with Movements, Mannequin Pussy, and Heart to Gold. Having an absolute blast. I'm going to be walking you through my gear today. So, this is, at the time of recording, a pretty new model. This is a Squier Bronco bass. They only came out with these, I want to say they announced it in like June of this year, 2023. And as soon as I saw the design, I knew I needed one. It's a bass 6 body with 2 wide range humbuckers and a short scale neck. Plays incredible, and it just has this like kind of amazing like low end, round, wonderful character because of the wide range humbuckers. I haven't played a ton of Squier basses in my life, but to be honest, this one's incredible. Doesn't make me regret it at all. And I actually like it so much I'm thinking about getting a second one. So that's rad. I play on all my basses, I play 45 to 100 strings. If I can get them, I'll use the Dario NYXL bass strings. But when that's not available, super slinkies are also fine. Mostly it's just about the 45 to 100, which is kind of a mid-gauge, not too heavy, not too light. But yeah, this is the newest addition to the arsenal, and honestly, I could not be happier. So in our set, we play 2 tunings, kind of 3 almost actually. This is the bass I use for the first half of the set, which is in standard tuning. But the very first song we're playing on this tour is actually, the bottom 3 strings are still in standard, so A, D, G. But the lowest string goes down to B, which creates kind of an interesting opportunity because it allows me to make like an octave by doing what would traditionally be kind of a power chord shape, and I can get this really powerful sound out of it. For this tour, these pickups are actually really hot. Like, I was surprised by the output. And because of that, I basically stay on the neck pickup exclusively because it's a little closer to the output of the other bass that I use. And it's just volume tone. Sometimes I'll roll the tone off a little bit, depending on the room, if I feel like the treble's slapping a little too much. In a band like Softcult, where we're making shoegaze tunes, the sub is what's important, right? Like, you want to be able to carry that sound. And so this guy's great. When the low string goes down to B, it just absolutely, it's thunderous. And this bass is fantastic for that. So this is the second bass I play in the set. It's a 2014 Fender Dimension bass. The Dimension bass is really unique. I want to kind of say it was maybe Fender's take on a bit of an Ernie Ball type of shape. And it's incredible. It's so comfortable to play. The neck is kind of a mid combination between a P and a J, which I love. I've always been a fan of maple necks. And the really unique thing about this one is it has this crazy 3-coil pickup, which where you would kind of expect to just have volume tone. It's actually, this is a 5-way selector, which selects between the coils, so you can do this coil, these 2, all 3, these 2, or just this one, by selecting with this guy, and then this is just volume. So luckily I really like the tone of the bass, because I don't really need, that allows me to not have to use any kind of tone control stuff. But it's crazy, you can get a lot of variance in output just with this switch. When you're on all 3 coils, it's surprisingly loud, like it really absolutely slaps, which is pretty incredible. Same on this bass, I use 45 to 100 gauge strings, which is just kind of standard bass. And this, during the set, this bass stays in D standard, so that's the second tuning of the set. I have done tours in which I've tuned on stage, and it's a nightmare, and I don't recommend it. So this bass lives in D standard, where the other one lives mostly in E standard. And I think this bass sounds incredible in D standard. I think this pickup really kind of comes to life in the lower tuning, and you really are able to get this kind of thump, and like the mids are really kind of mean sounding, which is awesome. Yeah, I love this bass. On this tour, I'm keeping it super simple. In the old van, you know, space is a commodity, so we're just going classic polytune. I love these. I love that you can see them in the dark on stage. Fantastic. This is one of 2 classic Boss CE2s that I own. This one I believe is an 84. I'm kind of obsessed with vintage Boss pedals. It's a long-standing collection of mine, and this is probably my favorite one. It's subtle. It adds a little bit of kind of sparkle, but it doesn't do so much that you're like, oh, listen to that chorus, which is fantastic. This is the tone press compressor. I'm trying to read that now. I think it's Barker Electronics. I've had this thing for such a long time now, to be honest. It's just kind of always lived on my board. Essentially, it's just a Dynacomp, which has a full wet-dry blend in it. If you're familiar with the classic MXR Dynacomp, it's kind of a really squishy compressor. It's fantastic. The way I'm using it on this tour is almost exclusively as a volume boost. So I'll blend it really low, set the sustain relatively low, and then just dime the volume so that I can kind of just get like an extra push on choruses and stuff, and I think it sounds fantastic for that. That goes directly into the Boss ODB3. Again, big Boss fan. I've tried about 1,000 different bass overdrives and fuzzes, and after all of my testing, I have come to the conclusion that this one just does something magical. For this kind of music, it's like it shreds the top end, it adds some low end. It's like everything you want and none of what you don't, and it's simple to use. It's got a full wet-dry blend, so you can retain some of that kind of clean low. It's perfect. And then all of that gets summed in the wonderful, the magical Microtubes BK7 by Dark Glass preamp. I've tried pretty much every kind of bass preamp there is, Sans amps and whatever, and I have to say that if you've never tried a Dark Glass preamp, you are missing out, because these things are truly incredible. This is most of my bass tone. A lot of the time on stage, almost my entire tone that goes to the PA comes directly out of the direct output from this thing. The amp really only functions as stage volume, and honestly I couldn't be happier. It just sounds shreddy, it sounds clear, the gain sounds incredible, it gives you all these amazing EQ options. I love it. Love it to death. So you can find us on all the socials. You can find Softcult on every streaming service, on Instagram at Softcult Band, I believe. We're on Spotify, we're on everything. We have a new EP coming out soon, which is the best, and you should listen to it. And we'll probably be in a city near you soon. Thanks for having me.